7 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order. First thing we do is start with a pledge allegiance of the United States of America. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you everybody for showing up. Okay. The first order of business is the consent agenda for June 6, 2023.
I make a motion to approve the agenda for June 6, 2023.
Okay, we have a motion to approve and support the consent agenda for June 6, 2023. Roll call vote.
Anderson, yes.
Goldston, yes.
Kaczynski, yes.
Stevens, yes.
Stover, yes.
Okay, 5 yeses, motion carries. Township spotlight.
I have a community spotlight this afternoon. I would like to show you the lovely bathhouses that were brought into our office by Community Enterprises of St. Clair County from River District. These lovely people get together on Mondays and they have craft projects, and they heard that we were looking for bathhouses for our township park, and so they made us 3 of them and stenciled them all, did all the crafts, ripped all the wood, put it together, and delivered it to my office, and it was very, very nice of them.
Very nice.
This is one of them, and we have 2 others, and they're heavy, really. This donated by CSCC River District, which is the Community Enterprises of St. Clair County.
All right.
So we thank them very much, and our bats will have a new home, and people will be in there on September to visit with the bats. I think it'll be a lovely evening.
As they eat all the mosquitoes.
Yes, they eat all of the mosquitoes within a 10-mile radius, I'm sure. So thank them all very much from the whole township, who's going to appreciate that bathhouses in our new park.
Okay, thank you. That was very nice. And you must squeeze into that place, huh?
Yeah, it was, yeah, they do. And as a matter of fact, the carpenter said they squeeze into spaces much smaller than those. They come in down through the bottom, but they can squeeze in through the 2 slats that are on the top. That's how tiny they get themselves to be.
Wow. Interesting. Okay, citizen comments. Okay. No citizen comments. We're up to code enforcement interviews. No. Jennifer, are we going to use?
She's gonna go grab the first person.
Okay, you said.
We're gonna do Kurt first.
Okay, the questions.
I have some written down. I don't know if anybody else came up with any. I mean, I can ask them or.
Well,
That's fine.
here's 5 I ran, me and Chris Anderson things, so here.
Well, I didn't have to go to the attorney. I just pulled some out. So.
Yeah.
Can you get another copy of this with me?
Yeah. Sure. Did I run out of copies? Okay. Here, let me go make copies.
Don't worry about it.
Here, we can just share.
Okay, here. Ellen?
All right, so first up we have Kurt. How do you say your last name?
Sunstack.
Sunstock.
Welcome, Mr. Senstock.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Okay.
coming to see
Yeah,
us
you guys
today.
share.
So, Mr. Sengstock stopped in a couple weeks ago with his resume and lots of copies, and I didn't copy all these for you guys, but he has many copies of all kinds of different things that he's certified in, which he listed on his resume that you can see, but I do have copies of all those here, so if anybody wanted to see them, I can pass them along. So, I don't know, how do you want to do the question?
Okay, you said you had a question you want to ask?
I have all kinds of questions, so I don't know how many of you.
Why don't you go, Jennifer, and I will listen to
We just
what
have to
is being
ask,
said.
every candidate, we have to ask the exact same question, that's all. If you-
Yes,
I
we know.
understand that.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Yeah,
know that.
I understand that. So, the first thing I would like to ask, is why would you like to become a code enforcement officer?
Well, I'm already a code enforcement officer for Ira Township. I've been there for 2 years. I enjoy it. It is a part-time deal, 2 days a week. I don't know what you guys are looking for as far as, are you guys looking for 2 days a week, 3 days a week?
Probably just one day,
Just one day? Oh, okay.
or
Yeah,
if you wanted to do like, we're thinking like 6 hours maybe,
Yeah.
or something like,
Yeah.
you
6
know,
hours.
however it
that's
works
what you're
out.
looking for. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just picking up, I have a home inspection business and I do that on the weekends, evenings, and I'm looking for something during the day, you know. So I work for IRA and if I work for you guys too, so I'd have a couple part-time jobs just to go along with the home inspections. So that's,
And then another question is, obviously if you're already a code enforcement, you're familiar with some of the building codes?
yes.
And
yes.
obviously, we have our own ordinances and stuff, so you'd have to be familiar with those, but I'm
Right,
sure some
right.
of them are the same as
Sure.
IRA's.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I am familiar with BSA and Word and, you know,
Okay.
the whole
That's
process.
good, 'cause we use
so,
BSNA,
yeah,
so that's
yeah.
good, that's good. How many,
If and when you were required to go to court,
Mhm.
would you be available during the week to do that?
Yes, yeah,
All right.
yeah. Ira Township's flexible with me. They're open Monday to Thursday. I kind of set my own hours. I come in when I want. Sometimes I'll work 3 days a week, 5 hours a day. Sometimes I do 2 days at 8 hours. So they're flexible. If I have to move stuff around to do something here, that's fine too. So
And with your experience in Ira Township, and indeed, a lot of the other things that you do you find dealing with people comes easily to you, that you're able to educate them as to what the ordinances might be, what the requirements might be,
Yes.
and
yeah.
without a hostile attitude?
Absolutely. I get a lot further with honey than I do
Yeah.
vinegar, and I don't like to accelerate situations. I'd rather bring it down,
Yeah, we
you
would
know,
too.
and you know, not turn things into a big ordeal, you know, bigger than it needs to be. So
And do you find yourself a person who can prioritize situations? We have many situations in the township, you know, some irritate me, some irritate them, some irritate everybody, but it's always, it's a matter of priorities. It's kind of like, could we solve the biggest problems first?
right.
And so are you able to do that, to look around and say, I think, you know, this is something, if we address this, if people see that this situation has dissipated and it's under control, maybe they will get the idea that the township is moving forward on violations, and you can prioritize things like that.
Yeah, when I started Ira Township, I don't think they had a code enforcement officer for over a year. So when I started with them, they gave me a
List like that.
of complaints that thick, and I just went through them
Yeah.
one at a time and just handled them one at a time. And all my file folders that I have open violations on, I'll have dates, you know, on the front of the file. BSA is updated, so I'm very organized as far as when I come in every week, what I need to do, because it's right there. And I just keep moving the files forward as I'm, you know,
That's good.
yeah.
And would you be able to make a report to the township on your progress? You answer to the township board You know,
Yeah.
we're all equally responsible for what happens around here. And I kind of envision, since I like to watch detective dramas, you know, you see the big blackboard and then, all right, this murder's been solved, we're gonna take that off and this and that. I love to see progress like that, you know.
Well, what I do with Ira, and I'm sorry I keep going
Well,
back
but
to
that's
that.
No,
not
it's
but
your
your
that's
experience,
it.
where
it's
you
fine.
work.
What I do is I run a report for them every month right before their
Yes.
board meeting. I do that through BSA. Again, as I'm working on the violations, I'm updating them as well, putting in my commentary, so everything's where it
amazing.
needs to be.
And BSA gives you the prompts, like, here's a violation, here's your first letter, here's your second letter, there's 2 weeks in between, or a week, or whatever, and it's just like, it seems, one of our irregularities around here is that nothing gets solved, everything
Alright,
gets
so-
noted.
So my process is that I'll send, let's say it's a blight complaint.
Yes,
If I have a formal complaint, a written formal complaint, I'll send the first letter, give them 14 days. If I don't hear anything or nothing's cleaned up, then I'll send a certified letter for 14 days. Our township attorney wants us to try and work with the people at least 30 days before she gets involved or does
Yes.
anything. And after the second, 14 days, I'll get a hold of the township attorney. She'll send a 10-day letter. And then, if they still don't do anything, then we're going to court.
okay,
So,
yeah, I just like it to be a finite process.
that's
It's like follow through.
Follow through, yes,
absolutely.
indeed.
Because our problem in
Absolutely.
the past is, the person would go out and give them a letter or whatever that says, you have 30 days to fix this, but then in 30 days, nothing happens.
So I write citations as well, and I work with Clay Township. So I'll fill out as much of the ticket as I can, and because I'm not an officer, they can't give me the driver's license number and some of those details. So I'll send it to, it's Lieutenant Stockwell, who I work with,
Yes,
and he sends the information to our attorney, which in turn she sends it back to me.
yeah. Yeah,
But
it's
that's how we
circular
got
thing.
it worked
I know.
out. Then I get the
Yeah.
information that I need, put it in the ticket, and then I go to deliver it to the court. And then it's pretty much the attorney handles it from there. So,
Very good, very good. That's kind of what I'm looking for anyway. I just want to see a beginning and an end to that
absolutely.
process.
Yeah. Well, that was the same problem with Ira.
Yeah,
That nobody listened because they were all empty threats.
yeah.
Right,
We're going to take it,
right.
we could possibly take action. Well,
Yeah.
I could tell you quite a few things that I've done since I've been in Ira, as far as, getting stuff done. Renee's Port Lounge,
Yes,
that was falling in on itself. I was the reason why, that was taken
Oh,
down because I
nice.
pushed it.
okay.
Yes,
Yes, we have a few situations like here. They're not only unsightly, they're unsafe.
Yeah,
And they're far beyond what our blight ordinance would allow, that's, so we're just looking for someone that's got some stick-to-itiveness.
I understand.
Good.
I understand.
And so how soon would you be able to start if we chose you?
I could start next week. So you guys said 6 hours a week?
I think that's what we talked
Yeah,
about.
6 hours a week.
I mean, I guess if it needs to be more,
If
is
it-
that a
yeah.
problem?
Well, if I start getting deeper into
Yeah.
stuff, then that takes more time.
Right.
And I don't know if 6 hours would
Right,
be
yeah,
enough time.
Right.
But it's the progress you're making that's more important to me than the hours.
Right,
Yeah.
because there is driving around, patrolling as well, and,
Yep.
Exactly.
yeah.
Yep.
What were you guys offering an hour?
Negotiable. At this
Negotiable.
point, I'd give you the moon, darling.
Okay, I'll take it.
But I'm the easy one to deal with.
Right.
That's negotiable. Do you have any questions of us?
I think I've asked them.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
You guys don't have a township vehicle, I probably would be using my own vehicle.
And so we pay mileage.
Yep.
and-
Okay,
Yes, of
Great.
course. Mhm.
okay.
Yes.
Does anybody else have any other questions?
No, you guys asked the questions I had on here.
I also have been doing building inspections too for Ira Township, part-time.
You're qualified to do that.
Yes, I have my building inspector license and planner review license as well.
No.
Well, you're a man for all seasons.
Mr., was it Singstad?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the biggest thing we want is compliance. A lot of stuff is just educating people.
Right.
And I think a lot of people just don't realize, you know, they're doing a violation. And I'm sure you get a lot of that.
Right. I am a noxious weed commissioner too for Ira Township. That's just being sworn in and handling grass complaints. But if I'm not sworn in as a noxious weed commissioner, then I can't send a company over to cut the lawn. So I have to be sworn into that.
Yeah, I don't know
We don't
that
have
we
an
even
ordinance.
have a blight ordinance,
Yeah.
although I can
Yeah,
cite them to instances where we should.
well, I could have our planner look into
No problem. I'm just trying to bring up
Yeah.
everything I can for you
Yeah, I
guys.
didn't even know
yeah.
that they had noxious weed ordinances out in the
Yeah,
country.
if the grass gets higher than 10 inches, same deal, I send them a letter, 7-day letter. If it's still not done, I send them a certified letter that it's gotta be done in 5 days, and if it's not done in the 5 days, then I can send a company there to cut it. And then it goes on their
allows
tax,
it.
yes, and then it goes on their tax roll.
bill?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Kelly's like,
I don't think so.
yeah,
But
so,
we'll send you to collect the money, so
Yeah.
I don't have to.
right,
Yeah, no, anything else there, Mr. Singstad?
I think I'm all set.
Okay,
All right.
very good.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
If you wanted to stay, that's fine. If you don't,
Yeah.
All right, and you do have my phone number on my
yep.
resume
yep,
there?
yep,
Fantastic.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you for the
Thank you. It's
interview,
been a
guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You want me to just go to the last one? Sure.
You get all the rest of the questions, I think.
Of course. This is not our first rodeo.
So it's gonna be Mr. Raymond next, huh?
Do not disturb.
You want to just go away? That's
Gonna
fine.
leave it in the car. And where shall I sit?
Right at the podium if you want.
Oh, okay, fine.
Okay, welcome, Mr. Raymond. How you
Yes,
doing?
I hope you got my messages.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, we
But
got
I did make it right at 7 when I went to the front door.
Okay.
Nobody answered.
Okay, well, the first question is gonna be asked by our township clerk, Jennifer Anderson.
Yep, the first question is why do you want to become our code enforcement officer?
Well, it is with at least some education in pre-law with, I became a paralegal. And then I finally retired, okay? So I said, I'd like to look for some work that was in some of my educational areas. So that's the reason why. I read up on what the code enforcement officers do. And yes, I've been in court. We had a lot of homework, needless to say, and ended up in the courts of Macomb County for school projects that we had to solve. So yes, I felt that I could easily do this position, handle this position.
Okay. Another question is, are you familiar with the building codes in Casco or in the area?
No, not really.
Okay. So that'd be something that you'd have to,
Yes, it would be a schooling, a learning experience, yes.
Okay, Colleen.
How are you with dealing with conflict, with people who do not like to be approached, to be told that they are in violation? How do you handle that?
Calmly.
Calm.
Very calmly, and I know there's procedures. You have to have procedures and processes of how to approach people like that. And so, yes, that's exactly what I would have to look at your procedures within this system to handle those type of people, yes. And it would just be mostly just calmly, and a lot of times I'll tend to agree just to have them back off a little bit. And then I'll also, say, look, I can look this up, I can handle this, I can take care of this for you. That kind of thing. Very common.
I would have another question, that's all right. How are your computer skills? Like, are you familiar with the BSNA software at all?
Not PSA, no. Just basically Excel, Word. Had to know a lot of computer work at school, obviously. So that's, otherwise, system-wise, no.
Okay, because we would use the BSNA and you'd probably have to learn how to do
I've
reports.
heard of that. I've heard of it, but I don't know it.
Okay.
Okay. Are you willing to represent Casco Township in court when situation arises, and do you have any experience testifying in court?
No, like I say, I've been in the courts to do schoolwork, following certain cases, et cetera, et cetera. And so, when you say, am I okay with it?
Well, have you had any experience going to court, and do you have any experience testifying?
No, I have not testified. I got chosen for jury duty, but when I answered their questions not correctly, I was dismissed, of course. That's the only experience I have.
So are you able to, because some of our cases would probably eventually need to go to court, would you be able to go to court like during the day?
Oh, yes.
If need be?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, anytime. I understand it's part of the workload, yes.
And you feel you have the good organizational skills to keep the cases going?
Yes, I understand all that.
Do you?
There's a time schedule, you gotta meet those time
Yes,
schedules, yes,
process.
you do. I
Exactly, that's
understand all
most
that.
important, really, most important.
Yes.
Good.
Would you have any issues keeping a log of your activities and actions for the complaints?
I wouldn't have any issues with it, but
Okay.
when you say for complaints,
Like when people call and complain about, say, a neighbor or whatever.
mean,
you
yeah,
gotta keep a log.
yeah,
organized
you're gonna
enough to
hear,
keep
yeah,
a
I
log.
have neighbors like that
Yeah.
already.
And let me clarify, we would expect a monthly progress report.
Oh, yes, gotcha. No,
For the board.
absolutely.
For the board.
Absolutely, yes, yes.
Okay. And are you able to work devote 6 hours a week, like 6 hours a day, 1 day a week to this job?
Yes. Yes.
And then how soon would you be able to start?
I can start as soon as next week or so.
Alright. Do you have any questions for us?
The schooling, there was that brought up of 30 hours of certain type of schooling for this position. Is that also gonna happen? Takes 3 years, it's a 3-year, you have to do it within 3 years
Okay.
from what they say.
Okay.
Yeah, Ms. Werner, I'm not familiar with that, but I can find out about it.
Well,
If
it's
you
my
need
question.
schooling,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, if you need training, we'll.
Yeah, it's a
we'll send
training,
you to
it is a training
Yeah.
for this type of officers.
Yeah, yeah.
And who offers that training? Michigan Township Association?
It's right in Michigan, it's under a Michigan rule.
Maybe something with Michigan Township Association, they have quite a bit of continuing education in all sorts of fields.
Well,
All sorts of fields.
it may fall under that.
Mhm.
All I found was when I made my questions in Michigan,
Mm-hmm,
that came up.
yeah.
And you have a vehicle to drive around, we would reimburse for mileage, but we don't have a township vehicle, so.
Yeah, I think it could be done.
Yeah, the biggest thing for this kind of position is just educating people who are violating the ordinance. A lot of people don't know that they are.
Yeah.
So, and we run across that a lot, so.
Yeah.
And
And I've gotten a few permits
Yeah, it's
from the Clinton
difficult.
Township.
Yeah.
Yes, I have
Uh-huh.
a couple of permits.
It's not an easy process sometimes.
And you have no problem following through with, you know, if you go somewhere, someone has a complaint and you give them a letter, say 30 days to clean up, you know,
Right,
blight.
no, I haven't.
Then you go back, and if they
No.
haven't done it, then you continue
I
until
understand.
it's.
There's a lot of safety issues,
Mhm.
health issues, whether it's commercial or residential.
Right.
So, I understand.
Anything else?
Any more questions? for me?
Yeah, any more questions?
Well, the one was the classes, the schooling. Now, am I on call? Is this an on-call job, or are you specific
No, it
hours?
would just be certain hours. I mean, if you needed more than 6 hours a week to do your work, we would work with you on that.
We'll be taking calls here in the office
Yeah.
about complaints and documenting that for you so that you could follow up.
Oh, okay.
So you're
I got
not,
you
nobody's
now.
going to
I
call you
understand
in the
now.
middle of the night.
I would say about,
Thank you.
I would say about 3/4 of the calls that way on my phone are always complaints about something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll run interference for you, but then we're gonna hand the ball off to you.
Yes, okay, I understand now. Yeah,
Mhm.
I understand.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
No,
Thank you
thank
for
you
coming
too.
in.
Appreciate
And
it.
if you wanted to stay for the rest of me, you can. Otherwise, if you want to leave, you're free to leave.
Oh,
No, I'm fine, I'm gonna leave.
Okay.
Only because, I haven't eaten supper yet.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Take care, sir.
All right,
Thank you.
very
We will
much.
be
Nice
making a
meeting all of
decision
you.
soon. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
All right.
All right, I'm just gonna go in there. I don't know how to say his last name, but.
Thank you.
Can you hand me those?
yep, this,
Yep, thank you. I'm gonna keep all those together. This one she's gonna do is code it for.
Do you want to just hold it for me?
Hi there. How are you?
Good, how about yourselves?
Doing pretty good.
Our first question is going to be by our township clerk there, Jennifer Anderson.
First, I'd like to say, how do you pronounce your last name?
Warshawski.
Okay.
oh, that's easy.
Great. All right, the first question I have is why do you want to become our code enforcement officer?
I've moved over into Casco back in 2011, and I am currently now I'm a police detective, police officer. I'm going to be retiring in a few years. And I'd like to do something actually in the township that I live in.
And are you familiar with any of the building codes or ordinances in our area?
I've looked over most of the ordinances. I've noticed a lot of them more apply to, I wouldn't say like electrical code, and that I'm not familiar with. More with city ordinances, law ordinances of that. That's more where I'm.
Holly?
How do you approach conflict? People who are upset that you're at their residence to begin with.
It's all about how you speak with people. Try not to get into conflict.
Mhm.
I've been a detective for going on 6 years now, and it's all a tone of voice. If somebody's yelling, you can bring them down. It's amazing what you can do with your tone of voice.
Mhm.
That would be the easiest thing. Is some people, they're always going to be angry at you. Just don't feed into it.
Mhm.
It's just going to fire them up even more. Just keep calm, try to get your point across.
Very good. And how are you at organization and following through. Because, you know, sometimes you have to do 2 or 3 letters, 1 or 2 visits, whatever. Are you very good at following through until completion?
I'm very thorough. I'm OCD. I'm very, very thorough. So, and that's part of the job, that you have to be very thorough follow-ups and continue following up with all investigations or complaints.
Okay.
All right, well, this is probably moot point since you're a police officer. Are you willing to represent the Casco Township in court when a situation arises, and do you have any experience testifying?
I have a lot of testifying, easy testifying against tickets, ordinances, all the way up to homicide trials.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna elaborate on that question and also ask, since you are working, if we needed you to go to court, you know, during work time, would you be able to take the time off to go and represent us?
Yes, I would. My schedule is very flexible. I can make my own hours and my own days as well.
And I have another question. Are you familiar with the software BSNA?
I am the tax software. Yes, I am. We do use that at work.
Gina, you want to ask a question?
Do you have any issues preparing a monthly report for the township and keeping a log on the activities and actions of each parcel?
I have no issue with that. I'm responsible for doing that right now currently at work. I have to do monthly reports. I'm also in charge of our reserve unit, which therefore I have to also balance the budget with them as well.
And how soon would you be able to start?
Just whenever I need to.
Yep. We're gonna, are you willing to work 6 hours a week for the township?
That's not a problem.
Or more?
Yeah.
That's not a problem.
Right.
Do you have any questions for us?
With the Facebook post, and I know we spoke a little bit, what mostly would the township be looking for? Is it more directed towards building code, more just ordinance, blight? What does this code enforcement position kind of?
Yeah.
I'd say it's probably a mix.
Yeah, biggest thing you'd be is an educator to people. Most people don't know they're violating the ordinance. We're dealing with a situation, someone put a storage shed in front of their house when it has to be in a side yard or a backyard. So it's stuff like that, you know, and then doing the follow-up on that. So that's what I've found out since I've been in this job. A lot of people just don't realize the ordinance.
What the ordinance is.
Yeah.
And just a quick follow-up, I also am a firefighter, so I don't know the electrical code 100%, but in some building codes, some of the electrical, we are required to know some of that.
Yeah, but blight is a big issue.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
That's like our
that to
main-
me is the main issue.
Yes.
We have a building inspector and we have a
Right.
building department, and they do excellent work as well. I like prioritizing blight. You could drive around this township and come back with 10 things where you would say, I would
Easy.
address this, that, and this, and once we get that settled, then I
There's
will.
10 more.
Then there are people out there that might be in violation, they don't know it, and it isn't apparent to everyone. But there are some very apparent violations here, and they've been going on for too long, and we just need to let the township know that we are seriously looking into the quality of their neighborhoods by protecting their property rights and making sure, we're not cookie cutter out here, nobody's farms look alike, but there is a certain quality of life that we would like to see upheld so that everybody feels good about coming home at night. And I need you to prioritize those and take action as quickly as you could.
And there's a fair amount to catch up.
And yes, there is.
I do have one other question.
Sure.
With the position, does that allow you to go onto somebody's property with code enforcement? It does allow you.
It
Or
has
does it
to.
prohibit you from going onto somebody's property?
I have I have never gone on, the only property that my office goes on, and I'm the treasurer, is the assessor. And she has, you know, she lets people know, she has identification. I think we begin with a letter.
Okay.
I don't think somebody showing up on anybody's property is a wise thing to
Right,
do.
that's,
Mhm.
I'm just wondering if the letter goes, if you were to send a letter out, it goes unanswered, if it goes unanswered, you're trying to make contact with them, does that position allow you to actually go up to the door and make contact with somebody?
I would have to get clarification on that from our
That's,
Yeah,
I think we need to
and you would
definitive
probably know better
answer for
than
you
me
on that
about
too,
that.
but we don't have that.
We've had cases where people are renting out property and the renters and that are causing a big problem. We can't get a hold of the landlord or they refuse to contact us. So, any other questions?
I don't believe so, do, any questions?
You know what, real quick, you have a vehicle, we don't have a township vehicle, so we would reimburse for mileage, but you have a vehicle that you
Yes.
can drive home.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. All right.
All right, thank you very much for your time.
Well, thank
If you
you.
wanted to
Thank
stay,
you.
fine, if not, you're free to leave, and we'll make a decision soon and let you know either
Thank you,
way.
all right, have a good day.
Thank
So
you.
much.
Who's next?
Jean. I think that's.
I think from last week I might have.
No, I got it.
I know. If you want to go to the podium, it's fine.
Oh, I want to go to the podium.
Yeah, up on the podium.
I'm on the spot.
You're on the spot.
Okay.
No hiding.
You sure?
Yep.
Okay.
Hello,
Hi,
how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Okay, Jean, our first question will be asked for our township clerk here, Jennifer Anderson.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for coming. My first question is, why do you want to be Casco's code enforcement officer?
Well, I miss being out and about on the roads and stuff. And I did do interviews, smoking interviews for about 12 years. And then things changed and I stepped down. And right now I'm just working for the Metro Parks for only a couple days, but I need to get back into full-time if possible and get back out on the roads. And I like people. I always like to talk to people.
Okay.
Codes are nothing, you know, years ago I was a police officer too, so I've done a lot of stuff over the years.
Are you familiar with the building codes and the zoning laws of Casco or the area around?
No, but it wouldn't take me long to learn them.
Okay. All right.
How are you at dealing with people who are a little bit upset to hear
Oh,
from you?
I've worked, I deal with all kinds of people over the years. I worked with the census for 2010,
Oh, so
2020.
you went door to door?
Oh, that's what the interviewing was.
Oh, my.
Doing the smoking surveys. I used to go to people's homes. Yes, you do run into irate people.
I can imagine.
But you have to talk with people, and it's how you approach them, how you know, I can have a person be angry with me and we'll be talking to the door and eventually they'll open the door and talk to me. It's just how you talk to people.
Mhm, mhm. And are you good at organizing your thoughts as far as follow through?
Oh, yes. I'm a organizing nut.
Oh, really?
You know, I like things to be organized. It's just like when you have a route to do, you try to do it the most economical way instead of backtracking and going back and forth.
And would you have a vehicle that you could use in the township? We reimburse for mileage,
Oh, yeah.
but we don't have a township.
We did that. I did that with the interviews and that too.
Okay.
You get a
Oh,
mileage
good.
reimbursement.
So it doesn't bother you
Nope.
to just walk up and speak to people and?
You have to be careful when you do go to certain homes though. You have to look for signs. I know that if there's dogs,
Yeah, the
something like
Doberman
that,
would
you've
be
got
a
to be
sure
careful.
sign.
You have to really pay
Yes.
attention and learn to trust your gut, because that'll.
Yeah, and we prefer letters being sent rather
Okay.
than,
So you approach it that way, you do the letters first and then,
Yeah.
okay?
yes.
Just let them know you're coming.
Yes, exactly. Let them know you're coming.
Yep.
Would you be willing to represent Casco Township in court if the situation would
Sure.
arise? Did you have any experience in that sort of thing?
I was a Detroit police officer in,
Oh,
I've done a lot of stuff. I was also in social work where I worked with domestic violence and I was a
okay.
court advocate, so to speak, so it's nothing.
Thank you.
Just to add on that one, you'd be able to go like during the day or whenever,
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I've worked as late as 11 at night.
Are you able to devote 6 hours a week, like 6 hours a day, 1 day a week to this job, or more if necessary?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, definitely.
And how are your computer skills? Are you familiar with the BSNA software?
No, but I've done so many different, it's just a matter of working with it and learning the program.
Would you have any issues preparing a monthly report
No.
to the township and keeping a log of all the activities and actions?
I think that's the best way to do things. You gotta stay on top of stuff. I'm sure you'd wanna know, what I'm up to and what I've been doing, so, yeah.
We more want to know what the light ordinance people are up to.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure that you see all kinds of them out there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Jean, the biggest role of this is educating residents on the ordinance. A lot of people don't know they're violating the ordinance until they're
Yeah,
shown
it's
that.
education.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
That's where the rapport you establish with people comes in handy.
How soon would you be able to start if we chose you?
Anytime, yeah.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for us?
I take it, what is it, just one position that's
Mhm.
open, okay.
Mhm.
And as far as compensation, what,
We haven't, it's negotiable.
It's negotiable.
okay.
And then, yes, we've got a lot of catch-up to do in this township. We've got light that's gone on far too long, and we just haven't addressed it properly. So, you might have to hit the ground running, and it might take some time to catch up. But we're more than willing to negotiate a fair price for your time and your experience, I think.
Okay,
you know.
and how many hours are you really looking at? Is it just the 6 hours, or is it gonna be more?
Yeah, I mean, depends on the situation. We would expect you to do 6 hours a week,
Oh,
but if
okay.
it takes more, let's say, if
Which I'm sure it will.
And then if there's support in addition to that.
Okay.
And you have a car,
Oh, yeah,
we do mileage. So
okay, okay.
okay.
That's cool.
Do you have any questions of us?
No, I'm just interested with I love meetings like this. You got me?
Now you get to be on television and everything.
I think I know what's expected,
All right.
so,
Thank you.
Well, thank
We're
you.
really impressed.
And you're also a veteran of the United States Air Force. Thank you for your service.
yes, I'm a I've done, like I said, I've done a lot, and people have been bugging me to write my story, which I have, but it's just getting it organized. And get,
That would be interesting.
Well, at least start a blog.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah.
I
One
should.
of those
Or
influencers.
do what
Yeah.
what you do and just put it on YouTube or
There you
something.
go, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
We would expect a monthly report on parts of your life.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my. Thank you very much.
Oh,
for
you're
your
welcome.
time.
All right.
Yes.
You're free to stay for the meeting if you want, or if you'd like to go, you can go.
I think I will stay for, but I'm already here, so you don't mind then?
No, you can go.
Okay, do you still have the minutes over there?
The agenda's right there,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, well, thank you. I appreciate it. But, okay. Cool. Yeah, there's a business. I live in Romeo, and I probably should get involved in Romeo. Good old you too. I like you too. Thank you. There's a lot of good programs in here.
Thanks, thank you.
The first thing I would like to ask is why do you want to be Casco's code enforcement officer?
Oh, good question. I'm a real estate broker. I've been in real estate for like 26 years. I live in Casco. Ever since COVID, I've been mainly working at home, since going to the office, and I have a lot of idle time, and I like to keep my township up. I have a cottage up north. It's on a lake, and we have association there, and I can't get involved there because I'm too far away, but I like the way it works. Just keeps everything neat and clean and in order, and I like to, I'm invested in this township, and I just want to keep it that way.
And are you familiar with the building codes and zoning ordinances in Casco?
Also, within my real estate, I had a property management company for about 10 years. Also, I managed like 20 rentals, and I dealt a lot with the different municipalities, water, evictions, and to court a million times, blight, you name it. So I have that sort of experience too.
Okay. Hi.
Oh, well, you live in a nice community, you're in a nice lake community. How do you handle people who don't live up to your expectations as far as blight?
But just by the code, by the law. I mean, it's easier with honey, so.
It's nice to have such reasonable people, isn't it? Yes. And are you very good at following up? At writing the first letter about blight and following it up with the second and then the third and then shaking down the thunder?
That's part of basically my business, minus the thunder.
Then-
But follow-up is like, what keeps me alive,
Yes.
That's part of my job, big part of my job.
Mm-hmm. Well, you must be very good with people, being in
I
real
like it.
estate and all of that sort of thing, so that's always a helpful thing. Good.
Would you be willing to represent Casco Township in court if the situation should arise?
Oh, so I was assuming it would be, yeah.
Okay, and do you have any experience testifying in court?
Oh, that's what I said, with my renters, my property management company, yeah, that's,
Oh,
I
okay,
get that a lot,
okay.
yeah.
And you'd be willing to go like whenever? You don't have, okay. You have a flexible schedule, so if you need to go to court, there's.
I have a real flexible schedule,
Okay.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you willing to work, devote at least 6 hours a week to this job?
Oh, certainly, yeah.
Okay.
And your computer skills, are you familiar with BS&A software?
Yes, I use that in real estate also.
Okay.
Do you have any issues preparing a monthly report to the township board?
No.
Keeping a log of the activities and actions of each parcel?
That's another thing I did with my property management company. There were 3 Canadian investors, and I had a monthly expense report that I had to, turn in.
Okay.
And we do not have a township vehicle, so you have a vehicle that you could
Oh, yeah.
use to drive around. We just reimburse for mileage, but. Okay. And how soon would you be able to start?
Tomorrow. I live here, so I'm just like.
The biggest thing of ordinance enforcement is educating residents. A lot of people don't realize that they're violating the ordinance.
Right.
So, and I've discovered that doing this job. And, and work with people to correct the situation. Sometimes it's gonna take people a while, but if they're showing a good faith effort, that's
Right.
what we'd like to see.
Well, I was thinking about that too, because I don't want to destroy my business by being a heavy hand around here, you know what I mean? And I drive around, I have my name and phone number in the back of my truck. And so I'm looking at my.
We would expect you to be like a diplomatic candidate.
Yes, I would rather get along with them and I don't like confrontation unless it's necessary.
Do you have any questions for us?
A little more, the job description was kind of vague. If I could enhance, some of that, other than just, it's more than just blight, right? I mean, there's.
Yeah, there's blight, there's stuff like where we just had an incident this week where someone put up a shed, one of those sheds that you buy at the building supply center,
Okay.
and placed it in their front yard.
Okay.
We're normally allowed to put them in your side or rear yard, so stuff
Gotcha.
like that. So it's not necessarily a blight issue.
Okay.
It's,
Okay. I was confused about that, so I don't know how much Roland did and how much this job was with the codes and stuff.
Well, Roland's a building inspector
Right.
there, so he.
Yeah, I didn't know how much, where he drew the line, you know, that's,
He notifies us when he sees stuff.
oh, okay, and then it's followed up with the code
Yeah,
enforcement
yeah.
person. Okay, gotcha,
And
okay.
then also people call and complaining.
I figured that, yeah, okay.
Or you might want to take a drive around the township and,
Right,
you know,
right.
there are obvious blight
Mhm.
offenses around here that have not been taken care of in years, and others are more subtle. I kind of like those prioritized.
How do you work, like if you do notice something, is it something, you don't like approach, what do you do?
You write a letter.
Write a letter,
Write
okay.
a letter. You know, and people call in, and they'll call in about blight, but then again, they'll call in about, you know, there's a duck in my yard and he's ruining everything, and da-da-da, whatever. And there's all sorts, but people will always call in. And you know what, I don't like to take the names of the people who are complaining, because I don't like to put the spotlight on them.
Yeah,
I like to look at what the complaint is and say, if there is a violation, then it's the violation that we're looking at. It doesn't matter who called it in, it doesn't matter who complained, it matters that the violation exists, because that's the first thing
Sure.
that the violator is going to ask you, who called this in?
Right.
And that's
Yeah. Oh,
really
yeah.
quite beside the point,
Yeah.
Exactly.
you know?
Yeah.
And that's
Oh, that's
just,
understandable.
that's people skills
Yeah,
right there.
people left messages and I was looking into it. I says, I noticed it. I drove by your house, so that
Gotcha,
kind of.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So everything's blamed on you then?
There's always a scapegoat.
Okay, any further questions of us?
Not really, not at the moment.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
All
thank
right,
you.
you're all set. Do you want to stay? Feel free if not.
Okay, yeah, I will actually, okay, thanks.
Thank you. All right, and that was it. I think the last person he withdrew. Yeah.
Okay. We had, 4 candidates there.
Mhm.
Oh, 5 candidates. Does anybody have, any preferences or?
I think we need to.
I would just like to digest this a
Yeah.
little bit. I am thrilled that we have so many qualified people for this position, and people willing to work with the community. That's a good thing, very good thing. And every single one of them has people skills and knows how to approach the situations, I think. So that's going to take me a little bit of reflection, you know?
What are you saying? You want to postpone this until the decision of the next meeting?
No. But I don't want to make a decision right now. I want to consider it at least overnight.
So maybe we have a special meeting.
Yes, if that's all right with you.
No, that'd be no problem.
Yeah,
These
I don't
people
wanna make
are
a
just too
decision.
qualified to, you know,
Mhm.
toss this one and keep this one. They're just all too qualified and very, very nice, very nice.
Okay. Okay,
It's not going to be an easy decision.
No.
Thank you.
okay. All right, so. How soon can we call a special meeting, or is it,
What's today?
today's Tuesday?
Tuesday, Thursday morning? Are you here
We have, we're in here in the morning.
in the morning?
Mhm.
Could we have
That's fine.
a little coffee fab
What
Thursday
time?
morning?
Are you bringing donuts, bagels?
Donuts. Yeah, don't, I will. 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Are you going to still be here, or is that,
We'll post it tomorrow.
all right, is that enough time?
Yeah,
That's plenty, yeah.
Okay.
okay.
Are you guys good?
Yeah. Okay, can we put that-
You guys are more than welcome to come back.
All right.
It'll be open.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, the next thing on unfinished business B is budget amendments. We had our audit today, and the one, as the board realizes, I made a mistake on the budget amendments. And I've been educated, I've enrolled myself in the MTA budgeting classes to educate myself, and the mistakes I've made were mistakes that were very common to people who are new to the budgetary process.
I would just like to say, and I know I'm not picking on you, Joe, but I would just like to say I'm very disappointed that all this has taken place, because I've asked you since probably November to work on this. And I feel like Colleen's office, the treasurer's office, and the clerk's office, we try to do the best job that we can as far as financial stuff to keep everything in order. And I feel like this is a black mark on us.
Yeah, no.
And I'm just very disappointed in it.
Yeah, I know, you ladies do an excellent job. And I'm gonna get myself, learn this process, get it down pat, so this doesn't happen again.
I appreciate that, because I will not be doing anything on the budget. I've tried, I've done my share, I'm done.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
So, okay, any other questions on that? Okay, overhead street lights. I've contacted the 5 communities that we share street lamps with. I didn't print all of them, I just got it for the clerk's office here. We have Lennox, Ira, Columbus, China, and Chesterfield. Matter of fact, 4 townships share one light. They're at the corner of 26 Mile Road and County Line. So far we only get reimbursed from Lennox and Ira, is that correct?
Ira and Lennox.
Okay, so that means we need to get reimbursed from Columbus and China. We have 2 with China, 3 with Columbus, and a quarter with Chesterfield. I based this on a March 2023 DTE bill for our overhead street lamps. And Detroit Edison, our district foreman, sent us a listing of all the street lamps, what their number is, and where they're located at. So I was able to, I sent each community a highlighted thing of that, show where each light was, and it shows on how much the cost is, depending on what power the light is. So, and I will follow up with them to see.
Did you send them a document, like a letter or something?
Yes.
This is what they owe.
Yeah,
So they can bring it to their board and vote on it.
yeah, yeah.
I usually bill out in August. Is this something that can be taken care of before August?
Yeah, absolutely.
And DTE has raised, they have like, every year they're gonna increase it by so much. So we will need you every year
Right.
to follow up on this, and
Yeah.
any increased costs to us,
Mhm.
we need to pass that along to them. If, we're
Right.
sharing the
Gotcha.
cost, we need to share the
Yeah.
cost. So that's something that you'll need to keep up on
Yeah.
and follow up on.
Yeah, Columbus Township before, for whatever reason, rejected. They didn't wanna, it was, for whatever reason, they didn't wanna participate. I'm sure China Township has realized that we're sharing street lamps, but
Well,
it's.
And I don't know how to go about that if they refuse to do it, but it's one of those things where we should all share it.
Right.
We don't wanna pay it either, but we pay it.
Yeah,
It needs to be done, so.
It's for the safety of all of our citizens.
Exactly.
You know, we can't shut
I
off
would-
their
I would-
corner of a light.
I would have gone up to Columbus Township. Problem is, their board meetings exactly the same time as ours. So I'll see when China Township, and we have no problem with Lennox or Ira.
Right.
And, so, okay. Any questions?
Nope, you'll get that stuff to me before August so we can fill
Yeah.
it out.
Mhm.
Okay?
Okay. All right, new business, quote for cemetery tree removal.
We have an invoice in here from Cutting Edge Tree Care. They went out to the cemetery and, walked around, checked out what kind of trees needed to come down. There's quite a few of them that need to come down. So this was the quote they sent us. I don't know if you guys wanna do it all, do a few.
Do it all.
Yeah, how many trees have to be brought down?
I don't know what this
Six there, 3 there, 9, 10, 11,
13?
yeah, like 12.
Wow, that many,
Yeah,
okay.
And some of them are hazardous, so.
yeah.
All right, you make a motion on that?
Yeah, I move that we hire them to hire Cutting Edge Tree Care LLC in the amount of $4,650 to do the tree work that is listed on the quote, number 785.
I'll support that.
Okay, we have a motion and support to approve Cutting Edge Tree Care LLC for taking down the numerous trees in the township for $4,650. Roll call vote.
Anderson, yes.
Dan, yes.
Kazinsky, yes.
Stevens, yes?
Stover, yes.
I would just say I'm no expert on cost of tree services, but I have a lot of trees. And this seems pretty reasonable to me,
Okay,
given what I have experienced with my trees.
okay. All right, next one, high-tech quote to two-factor authentication. I talked to our insurance broker, Steve Sapp, and he says that the protection we got on our software was basically a Chevrolet level. In order to get Cadillac level, we need to get the two-factor authentication. And what that does, it's put on all the computers to identify, it's another layer of security. And especially this protects us against, there's some of the explanation in your packet, against a lot of the social engineering and other, because you got very smart bad people trying to figure their way in all the time. So,
I think it's a no-brainer that we should do this.
okay.
And I would move that we hire high-tech computer tech cloud MFA, multi-factor to install multi-factor authentication subscription in all of the computers that we're currently using, $4 per unit per month, for an annual cost of $528.
Okay, do we have support for that?
I'll support it.
I don't know, does anybody need tokens for that?
Pardon?
Token.
Like how we do the bank, we
Oh.
have a token, which you can use
You
the
can
same
use
one.
your same token.
But Brenda, so they don't
Brenda
use their
doesn't
cell
have
phone, or Katie doesn't have it, then they would just use the token, so you're not using your personal phones to do this double.
But you could use the one from the bank.
So you wouldn't need them, but like Katie and Brenda would need them if Joe wants one. So you're not using your private, your.
And I
Because
just
what they'll do is
personal
they'll
cell phone.
send you, when you log in,
Yeah.
either you can put, they call it a UB, I
That's what
don't
the
know if they
second
call it, a
page.
UB key.
A UB key.
You put the UB key in, which is basically like a flash drive thing. You
This-
put it in and it authenticates it. If you don't have that, then they will send a code to your cell phone.
And
then
that's
you
what
have to
this
put the code in.
is just to do that, and it's through your phone.
So if you needed a token,
It's
then we need to buy that
$55.
separate. So that should probably be included in
I'm
this.
just going to die of aggravation, that's all.
I used to find
It
this
really
extremely
is.
irritating initially, but it's so easy once you get used to it, and it's so protective of your security
Okay.
to
Well, and
do
I do
it
it-
this way.
I do it with the ARPA account, I have to
Alright.
go in, and if I can't use the UV key, like if it's not behaving, because sometimes it
It
doesn't.
doesn't, yeah.
You can still choose to
Alright.
have them send a code to
Our
your
election
cell
stuff
phone.
for the state, the QBS, we have a UV key now, it's your thumbprint.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the
Yeah, that's
tokens,
been showing up on my phone too. Do you want
It's
to
a good thing.
authenticate with
okay, it's 2 tokens for $110.
If it's just the two, I don't, it would be Brenda and Katie, the four of us already have ours.
Yeah.
Do we need one for Shelley, do you want one, Joe? I mean, I just got
Shelley's
this quote
gonna-
for two just to.
Shelley's gonna need one,
Price.
Linda's gonna, well,
Linda
Linda's
has
got
one.
one.
The four
She's
of
got
us
one.
have one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
So you might, if you need one, then you're gonna need.
I didn't know
four.
who needed it.
Shelley might need one.
okay, so we'll get 4 then. Okay, so that'd be,
Should you amend the motion?
yeah,
to
$220.
For 4 tokens?
Yeah, okay, so that'd be $220 on top
Plus
of.
shipping, plus shipping, I don't know what
Plus
the shipping's gonna be.
Probably shipping.
We could just approve a not to exceed amount of, what, $700 or something like
There you
that.
go.
Okay, all right. Okay, we have motion for the multi-factor authentication and for 4 tokens to not exceed $700.
Did I have enough, is there enough in
That's,
there?
that's
Okay.
enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, is there support for that?
I'll support it.
Okay, we have motion support for multi-factor authentication and 4 tokens. Okay, roll call vote.
Anderson, yes.
Dan, yes.
Kazinsky, yes.
Stevens, yes.
Stover, yes.
Okay, motion carries.
I just really have a real
It's a
quick
$700 just for
question.
the tokens.
How come this is from December and we're just doing it now?
What-
He told me to, when we're gonna be discussing this contract, and let me follow on, once we get this installed, he will, approach us with a modified contract.
Okay.
Yeah, he told me, yeah, we don't have to discuss that until the summertime.
Who said what?
Okay, Steve Sapp, he says, once we get the multi-factor authentication,
Installed.
yeah, he could look at getting a modifying our contract to get more coverage there.
Okay.
Okay, all right, we have quotes for generators, okay, we need a generator especially to cover the elections especially. We don't want anything unfortunate happen. We have 2 quotes, one from Brenner Electric. This is to, they're both 24 kilowatt Generac generators.
Can I explain?
Oh, sure.
Okay, so I called 4 different companies. I called Supreme, Brenner, Sideline, and is it Ziller?
So, yeah, so.
I think it was Ziller. They all came out, but we only got the 2 back. These 2 quoted for a 24 kW generator. The other 2 felt like we needed a bigger generator to accommodate the siren and the air conditioning. And Sideline thought we should go even bigger than that because we're gonna do the addition. My feeling is, and I don't know anything about generators, my worry, and I don't care about the air conditioning, if the power goes out, whatever. I'm worried about our computers, because we got brand new computers and all this equipment, so we don't want something to happen if the power goes out. And I'm also concerned about, like on election day, if the power were to go out, to have backup for the tabulators. That's all I'm concerned about. I don't know what you guys feel as a board. Do we need to go bigger to accommodate anything else? The way I see it is, we don't have a generator now, so if the power went out, we can't do anything with the siren or, the air conditioning or anything now anyway. So, I don't know what you guys feel about it.
Is there a backup battery with the siren?
Yeah, I agree. Like.
Just the basic.
Right,
I agree.
I don't
Right.
care about the
Yeah,
air
lights.
conditioning and,
It makes sense to me.
yeah, lights, to run the sump pump for the tabulators, the computers, yeah.
I wonder if Roland has any comments, you do this kind of stuff.
Not really, I don't know a lot about the siren thing, is that its own entity that's
Any read on the kilowatt hours that they're proposing?
No, I
I
did
mean,
that
I
up
might
on
have some.
Yeah, I think these are, these 2 are, to me are,
Good. Yeah.
enough.
What, Brenda?
Just in years past experience, when the air conditioning would go out, our technical person back then was concerned about how the humidity may affect our electronic devices.
Okay.
So the air conditioner might be something you want to consider, but
And I
it
think the
may not be
24,
necessary.
I think that would,
I suspect
I
it
think that
will.
would be okay for the air conditioning. It's just not gonna be like, you know.
What was the cost spread between the two?
I didn't get any other
Oh,
quotes but these two for the 24. So I didn't get anything for anything bigger.
Is the other one local?
They're both kind of local. One's from Richmond and one's from Marine City.
Okay.
Supreme did the electrical for the,
And I can tell you between the two, I was impressed with Supreme. He came out, he asked a lot of questions, got a lot of information from us. The other one asked some questions, didn't get as much info, but
I've dealt with Supreme as well, and they're really, I highly recommend, I think they're good.
I'll move that we purchase and have installed for $12,000 pursuant to quote number 847 from Supreme, 24 kilowatt generator.
can I add something real quick?
Yeah,
We will probably need to, all four of the people said we will need to get a new meter. For
meter,
gas,
yeah.
new gas meter from Sunco, it won't be big enough, so we will need to do that, so there'll probably be cost for that, but we can, when we get to that, bring that to the board. But just so you're aware, there'll be a little bit of cost there.
I'm impressed they're doing both electrical and gas, because some.
Are we
Yeah.
going to need additional generator when we put the addition on?
This should handle what we're wanting to do.
I would think.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. And this will, like, every other week will run itself. They'll do a self-test for like 10 minutes or stuff like that.
Is there a maintenance agreement that comes with this of some kind or other,
They
testing and
didn't
so on?
say anything about that, so I'm not sure.
We might look into that down the line.
I'm sure
We
they'll
can do
do
that if
Yeah,
necessary.
Generac.
But it's good to do that.
I have a Generac home generator, and they send me a contract then. Yeah.
And
that's-
Supreme might do that. They're
Yeah,
close
I think
and
so.
they installed it. And
Okay, we have a motion to accept the Supreme Electric 24 kilowatt Generac generator for $12,000. That includes installation, both electric and gas. Do we have support?
I'll support it.
Okay, we have a motion and support to accept Supreme Electric service 24 kilowatt generator for $12,000.
Did you support that?
Gina did.
Okay.
Maintenance.
Okay, roll call vote.
Anderson, yes.
And yes,
Kazinsky, yes.
Stevens, yes.
Stover, yes.
Excuse me.
Okay, 5 yeses, motion carries. Okay, MTA dues, our yearly dues is for $3,657.80. MTA is a great organization.
that's a deal.
I utilize them a lot. So you're making a motion?
Sure.
Okay.
I move that we continue our membership in Michigan Township Association in the amount of $3,657.80 for the next year.
Okay, do we have support?
I'll support it.
Okay, we have motion support to continue our association with the Michigan Township Association for,
Oh, I should include it, that we're including legal defense fund contribution, is that all right?
Yeah.
Just to
Okay,
make that clear.
for a total cost of $3,657.80. A roll call vote.
Anderson, yes.
And yes,
Kazinsky, yes.
Stevens, yes.
Stover, yes.
Okay, 5 yeses, motion carried. Okay, the 2023 Cemetery Conference.
So there's a cemetery conference, Vicki and I went last year, we learned so much, and we're making good headway with the cemetery. We've had quite a few people say it's looking better. We put flags out for Memorial Day. We had a cemetery cleanup. So we're little by little, we're trying to get it in shape. But there is a cemetery conference that we'd like to go to. We put that in here. That would be for both Vicki and I, and it would be for, what, 3 nights?
Now, you're going to an education class next week, aren't you?
For clerks.
Oh.
Next week, we're going to the clerks conference. The week after, it's a 4-hour MTA cemetery conference. So it's
Okay.
different. It's through a different
I see.
company.
Okay. When is this conference, the cemetery conference?
August 16th, 17th, and 18th.
Okay. And how much is it?
It's right here in the packet. There's 149 for each person, plus room and board, plus travel expenses.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we send our clerks to the 2023 MAMC conference.
Support.
Okay, we have motion support to send clerk and deputy clerk to the 2023 MAMC conference. Okay, roll call vote.
Anderson, yes.
Dan, yes.
Kaczynski, yes.
Stevens, yes.
Stover, yes.
Okay, motion carries. Hire Dan Crump as cemetery caretaker.
We do not have anything in the packet because we don't have any info. However, we did meet with Mr. Crump last week or 2 weeks ago. He came out to the cemetery. He is, I guess, the caretaker, would that be?
Yeah, he doesn't want to be the sexton.
Yeah, he doesn't want the title of sexton, but he does oversee 19 other cemeteries part-time. So he would open and close the graves.
And also do our footings.
And do our footings.
He must be very busy.
But you know what,
Very
he gave us a nice education when we were walking around.
He
We
was helping
learned
us probe.
about which way they bury people, east, west.
We were kind of probing the ground to see what things,
Yep.
and he was walking.
He
through
took his
what we're
probe and
helping us know.
he said this grave's from, before 1930, so it's a wooden box, so he didn't hit anything, but like one that was
He was
a
so
current
knowledgeable.
one, it was a, yeah.
Isn't
We
that
met with him
something?
for a couple hours.
Yeah.
And he helped us go through the map a little bit and kind of figure out some things and why things
Okay.
look a certain way. And
So this is, and Andrew's just right
made a little
now,
more sense to us.
he's just doing when we're just renovating
We're-
the,
Yep,
okay.
yep. So this guy would be the one that would
Because
come
he
and
brings
open
the
and
equipment.
close.
Right. Okay.
He's got a
Yeah.
business that.
Yeah, no, sounds like experienced guy.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
He's
good
available
stuff.
anytime. He's got
Yeah,
time.
he said he gets calls 24/7 and.
And what
Okay.
is his compensation?
We're gonna have the pricing list next month. We have a pricing list from him to open and close, I think was around $700-800. But we also have to charge, we have to charge an admin fee because we have to have perpetual care.
We
and
have
that's
to
what
add a little bit more to it.
Sure.
Just to make sure we have.
So we have money coming in to help take care of the cemetery.
That's called a perpetual fund.
So we will have to create
So
a
we're gonna,
perpetual
yeah, we're
fund for
gonna
the
figure
cemetery.
that out.
That's how
next
it's,
month.
should
That's
have
how
been
it's
done.
done.
A long time ago.
Yeah, that's technically, you're not supposed to, just like our liquor control fund, you're
It's
not
not
supposed.
supposed to go in the
It's a
general fund.
dedicated,
It has to be
Yeah.
separate.
All right.
Yeah.
So he gave us the list from Columbus.
Well, we got Columbus's
Yeah.
list, and so we're gonna go through that and we'll bring it to the board next month as far as prices for, a site, if someone wants to buy a plot, how much it's gonna be, and how much opening and closing, and they charge different prices for if it's in the winter, because it's a little harder
Well,
to
it's
dig, and,
frozen.
yeah, Sundays are a little bit more, because it's a Sunday.
And so this cost is passed on to the people that are.
This is nothing that the township would pay for. It's if someone gets buried there, it's like in any other cemetery, you have to pay.
But they are not paying,
Everybody has to pay.
they are not paying an annual perpetual.
No. This is just,
A one-time,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be like
And
an
that is-
extra
and
fee
that
that we,
is put-
yes.
after we pay Mr.
Yeah.
Crump,
Yep.
then anything over and above goes
So
into
it's like
Correct.
paperwork for the
The,
clerk's
the
office,
Right.
price,
doing
the
paperwork
price
and
of the
everything.
grave goes into the perpetual care fund. The opening and closing cost pays for the digging of the grave
Right.
in there. Yeah.
But he said like when he does the footings, he charges 80 cents.
Most townships charge $1.
He said, so you get a little extra in there, so like if we charged $1, we would get the 20 cents per foot or whatever, square inch, yeah. So then you'd add that into the perpetual care.
Yeah.
Because eventually, all the plots are gonna be sold.
Right.
All the graves are gonna be, and you still have to take care of it, you still have to cut the grass, you still have to, you know,
Yeah.
cut trees and whatnot.
Yeah, that's what they call it,
How
perpetual.
much is a plot now?
We were only
low.
charging,
Yeah.
we were only charging $250,
Yeah, you
and
need to-
most places charge about $800.
Yeah.
So we need to adjust that.
Yes, I think so.
I don't know if it's
So
legal.
no mad rush to come by
In a
plots.
public cemetery, but I know in St. Michael's, if you're a parishioner, it's so much, but if you're a non-parishioner, it's more.
The board can choose to do that, we can do resident, non-resident.
Okay.
Some cemeteries do that, and some just do a flat, it's, you know, whatever for everybody.
Well, see
So
what,
we'll figure
investigate,
it out,
yeah.
we'll bring that to
investigate.
the board next month.
Okay, no,
But we
sounds
wanted to
good.
get him hired because we're worried that, you know, we might have someone,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, you ladies are doing a good job on taking care of our Garden of Stone down there. 'Cause that's a term in cemeteries, or sometimes called
What's it called?
Gardens of Stone.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
We're trying, we found, we have someone in there that was born in the 1700s.
Wow.
okay.
So, and we have, what, 7 Civil
Six?
War?
Sure, 7, yeah, Civil War.
And then
Wow.
7 World War II.
Two from World War One, and that's as far as we got. We don't know how, if we have any Vietnam vets or anything like that, or.
Yeah.
but we
Maybe
have
at
some
one
other
point we'll have
military.
to make like a memorial for maybe the veterans down there,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, well, we took all the flags off the driveway so they could cut the grass, but we did leave the ones that are at the sites that have the plaque.
The flags.
We did leave the flags in there, and we'll just, you know, periodically, maybe if they're worn or whatever, just replace them.
Yep, I got interred someone down there last summer, Mr. Cotton, so, but he was a creep. So, all right, no, that sounds great. Okay, the next one.
We have to do it.
You have to hire
Oh,
someone.
I'll make a motion that we hire Dan Crump as a cemetery caretaker.
Okay.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion, support to hire Dan Crump as a cemetery caretaker. And, is this the dollar amount? TBD?
It's gonna be whatever the set is. He gets what the price is for opening and closing.
Okay, all right.
I think it's 700.
700.
We'll have
Well,
700.
We'll have it all, like we said, next
Yeah,
month.
do the
Okay.
change, yeah, just never
All
know
right.
whatever the going cost is for him.
We have a motion support to hire Dan Crump as cemetery caretaker. I guess roll call vote.
Anderson, yes.
Dan, yes.
Kazinsky, yes.
Stevens, yes?
Stover, yes.
Okay, 5 yeses, motion carries. Next order is I'd like to appoint Maureen Gasparado as an alternate to the board review. Board review, we're allowed 2 alternates. We have 3 members on it right now. Chris Stevens, Roger Sloan, and Eugene Uvalde. And it'd be nice, a lot of our board review members typically are senior in years. And it would be nice to get someone else. Maureen had served on the planning commission many years ago. She's a very smart lady. She's lived in the township a long time.
I'll make a motion to appoint Noreen Gasparetto as an alternate to the Casco Township Board of Review, starting June 14th, 2023, ending December 31st, 2024.
Okay, good. Support for that?
Support.
Okay, we have motion support to appoint Noreen Gasparado to alternate to the board review with a term starting the 14th of June, 2023 and ending December 31st, 2024. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 5 ayes, motion carries. Okay, the road commission work order. This is for performance survey design for culvert replacement on Springborn Road between Beatty and Church. The county engineers back in March or February gave me a list of
7 culverts that need to be replaced. This is the one that's most valued. Now, the cost on there is $3,500. However, if we do this project within 2 years, they roll that cost into the project. So in essence, you know, they'll end up, you know, engineering costs and survey for them. So once they get in there and do the survey and the engineering work, they'll be able to tell us on how much it's gonna be to replace the culvert.
I'm not seeing that paperwork.
Sort of a no-brainer, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's infrastructure, it needs to be
Yeah.
done. So,
Do you need a motion?
yes,
I'll move that we take care of the culvert on Springborn Road, C82, between Beatty and
yeah,
Church.
perform the survey and design for culvert replacement on Springborn Road. Yeah,
To the tune of $3,500 that needs to be done.
okay, do I have support for that?
Support.
Okay, we have motion support, perform survey and design for culvert replacement on Springborn Road between Beatty and, yeah, Colleen. Okay, roll call vote.
Anderson, yes.
Yeah, Dan, yes.
Kazinsky, yes.
Stevens, yes.
Stover, yes.
Okay, 5 yes, the motion carries. This one is, okay, I handed out an amended one before the meeting. This is the St. Clair County Parks and Recreation 2023 request for local millage distribution.
We have to send them a letter.
No, we're sending this. Yeah, so,
This is the one that you're supposed to use. Yeah, the one that we need to do is the typed up one that the auditors.
right, yeah, the one that is typed
The
up,
numbers are different.
yeah, so,
So not this one?
yeah.
That one.
Okay, any questions on this?
Yeah, no, that one. That's standard, we do that every
Right.
year.
Yeah. Okay, do we need to do a roll call vote on this?
I would think so.
Okay, roll call vote? I mean,
Okay, you need some.
well, I need a motion. Yeah, it's-
Motion that we send in the request for local millage road distribution.
Park distribution.
I'm sorry, local millage parks distribution in the amount of,
Okay, no, that's,
then help me out. Wrong one. Okay. $20,435 plus interest and grants, $24,607 in the amount of.
okay, we have support.
I'll support.
Okay, we have motion support to, for St. Clair County Parks and Recreation for request for local millage distribution. Okay, roll call vote.
Anderson, yes.
Dan, yes.
Kazinsky, yes.
Stevens, yes.
Stover, yes.
Okay,
Is it for the
5,
full amount that you're requesting? I just want to make sure I get the motion correct.
Is it the 425,000 that she's putting in the
No,
motion?
no, no.
24,000.
No, that's,
It's the 24,000?
yeah, 24.
24,000.
Okay, thank you.
All right, okay, good deal. Okay, 9336 St. Clair Highway, commit PBD 22-0072. Okay. Okay, Brenda, do you want to give us,
Well, I believe that any of the information that the building department would want you to have should be in your packets.
okay,
We have a communication that Mr. Steeler hand-delivered to the Township Building Department on the 31st of May. A letter signed by Supervisor Stevens dated May 30th. And a memorandum from Building official, Roland Zeus, dated May 25th, 2023. So if you've had the opportunity to review these documents, I think I speak for Roland and myself, I think that they are pretty self-explanatory, and Mr. Steeler is present. And so we're at a point where we really need the board to give us some decisive, direct guidance here, because we have, correct me if I'm wrong, Roland, we've exhausted most of our options for what should we do next?
I think he's on third.
Four.
Okay. Mr. Steeler, do you have any comment?
I understand what's being presented, all the documents that were stated, I've seen and agreed. I agree with the position that Roland's in. I've looked at the ordinances and the zoning also, and it's all black and white in there. The only thing that gives me any wiggle room, if you want to use that, is of course the building inspector, Roland, if he were to be in a position that's stated in there that he could extend another 180 days. But I understand they feel they've done everything. So I understand the position they're in, and I understand the position I'm in.
All right. Does anyone have any comments? Well, Mr. Steeler, you were given more chances than anyone has ever been given in this township to complete your project. I think in the time that you've done this, you could have gotten it done or hired a contractor to finish it up. So, I mean, I see the frustration every day of our building department, and I heed their knowledge and their experience. And
I've always been sort of non-judgmental, as you know, in this situation, but the time has come to do what the township needs to do, and it's overdue.
Yes, the black and white, you know, you can't argue the black and white. Out of all of the inspections I've had, I've passed. Out of all of the permits that I've been asked to pay for, I've paid for. I bought the property for $175,000. Today, I know I can get $450,000, so it's not like, and that's with the house not even being done. So it's just statements. It doesn't require any comment or anything. It's just, I understand your position.
okay.
And the issue is just the revocation of the bond, and then whatever follows from there, correct?
Yes, the bond was originally collected in 2018.
I think we need to do that.
Okay, so you're making a motion.
Yeah.
Okay, you're making a motion.
Do we really need a motion? Isn't it sort of part of the ordinance that that's what happens?
That's what happens.
Yeah.
I would like to know, just for my own understanding, so if we, I guess we would revoke the bond, is that what we would do? What happens next for Mr. Steeler? What's next?
I don't know which direction we're gonna go in from here on.
Okay.
It's
You have to
almost like
take a look at
it's-
the property again, in other words.
Pardon me?
You'll have to take a close look at what's going on. Is that right?
Because I know you put
Yeah, well,
You would have to pull it out.
Not
I don't even know where to go. No.
Well, if we follow the same pattern we have since 2018, with the exception now, the bond being revoked, if he wants to continue, the current permit is good until next Tuesday, 1 week from today. That permit is still good. The bond has long been expired. So revocation of the bond would require Mr. Steeler to post another $1,230 bond. And if he gets one inspection or pulls a supporting permit, because in addition to the building permit, the electrical, plumbing, and mechanicals have long expired. So in the alternative, one building inspection or a new electrical, plumbing, or mechanical permit issuance would kick the can down the road
By Tuesday,
For another-
next Tuesday.
by next Tuesday for another 6 months. So that option is viable.
Let me ask you this, are you subbing any of this out now at all?
Not at this time.
In 180 days, you wouldn't have that house anywhere near close to being done. Impossible. You don't even have the electrical done, whatever, you don't have a permit on it. I don't know. Now we're gonna go into another code cycle. And if we get into that to 2021, then what's gonna happen?
Everything changes. But right now, one inspection should really be what's on the checklist. I don't know how willing Roland would be to do another progress inspection. I mean, that would be between he and Mr. Steele. But his permit right now is good until 1 week from today. But
And the only action that the board is required to make now is on the bond. And all the
revocation of the
other
bond
decisions will
will be
be
made
made
between now and
subsequent
next
between,
Tuesday. Between now
whether
and
the
next
permits and all that kind of stuff.
So the revocation, he would be required, if you revoke this bond, in order to keep going, he would need to.
Post another bond.
Yes.
Central lot.
And you understand all that
I
then?
understand.
Okay. Now, okay, the bond is just been revoked, we don't need a board action.
Well, you need, up
I think
until
it'd
this
be
point,
a
you've
good
always
idea.
made a
Right.
motion.
Yeah, no,
It's
we
been in the
did that
minutes.
before.
It's in the minutes
Okay.
that you have revoked.
All right, okay, do we have a motion to that?
I moved.
Okay, we have a motion to revoke the bond for Mr. Steeler in the cost of $1,230. Is there any support?
Support.
Okay, we have motion support to revoke the bond for Mr. Steeler over permit 22-0072. Okay, we need a roll call vote.
Anderson, yes.
Dan, yes.
Kaczynski, yes.
Stevens, yes.
Stover, yes.
Okay, 5 yeses, motion carries. Okay, building department demolition inspection fee. We have for your consideration, approval of demolition final inspection fee for commercial demolition. Final inspection fee for commercial demolition permit to be determined at the time of inspection due to the possibility of varying factors, chemicals and contaminated soils created by previous business along with building materials and building, etc. Potential problems that require increased scrutiny as part of the cleanup. These problems could result in the examination by engineers or other professional with big fees, obvious responsibility. Demolition final inspection fee for residential demolition is $75. There's no charge for demolition permits. This is for commercial, right?
Well, basically,
Well,
yeah, go ahead, Ron.
I'm supposed to go out on all of them with residential too.
Okay.
Fire chief usually calls me and I go out, that's the way we've been doing it for quite a while.
Mhm.
But it's a regular, I gotta do some kind of report on it. So
Right.
It should be like an inspection.
Okay. So it's for residential, what about like commercial and that? Is that gonna
Well, it'd be pretty much the same way.
okay.
So we need to add, it's right here, it just says residential. We should
Right,
put
yeah.
commercial
We've
too.
never charged for residential inspections on demolition.
Yeah.
We've never charged.
But we do for commercial.
We've never charged for commercial either.
So do we need to put
I used-
commercial in on this if we?
Well, the commercial is the first part of it, and what Roland's,
Oh, okay.
thought was, I'm speaking on your
Oh,
behalf,
yes.
so, demolition for commercial might have many different aspects once the demolition is complete. So there may be things buried that he wouldn't normally see until after the demolition takes place. So he'd like a little bit of latitude on what fee he would charge as to the depth and what follow-up may incur after his inspection, once the demolition is complete.
So do we have to do some kind of document that would state that for commercial?
I'm thinking it would probably be that language, if you approve of it, with, to be added to the fee schedule. That you approved it at the, even if you don't approve it at this meeting, if you do it next month, it would state on the fee schedule that the board approved it. And it would be on the front page of all demolition applications.
But you
So
want-
whoever applies will have that.
You want us to improve the residential demolition permit this evening? then?
Well, whatever your discretion
No, I
is. I
think
mean, I
it's-
don't know if you wanna set some type of a range and fee. I mean, because Roland really won't know until he gets to the inspection itself as to what degree his inspection is gonna entail.
So we could do like a to be determined on the commercial,
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
and then the residential do the 75.
The fire chief wants me to go out and check to make sure that the gas is turned off.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, residential is mostly pretty straightforward, just the commercial, you don't know, or industrial, you might wait.
Yeah.
and
Right,
get
that's
it.
it.
But
And
there's,
if there's environmental issues, it can really
Then
be
to go back.
expensive to be,
then to go back
into
out.
those things, it can be quite expensive.
Okay, so on the fee for, should we have a range for the, commercial, industrial?
What kind of range would you do?
Like from
I mean,
a-
he has no idea.
Yeah,
That's why I said maybe we do it to be determined. I don't
As
know.
far as we're
Because, I mean,
concerned,
if there's chemicals involved, if
Yeah.
there's
It could be,
asbestos
yeah.
involved.
Roland, is it possible you could, look into it and see what other, so we have, an idea on what to, charge?
I'm not looking for any more fees on commercial. What I'm saying is that we should be able to forward some kind of report that would require before they, as the cleanup goes, engineering, if it was like over here at,
Whoever would, I'm sorry.
over here at Fritz Point, we were over there the other day, Linda let me in the lock there and everything, so, but we had a letter from the demolition company. They wanted to report on it, they wanted to add some stuff, and I wouldn't do that with the other buildings that weren't even associated with what we were doing. But, say, for instance, the slab, was so covered with stuff that's foot deep, there's no way to tell them, so we just,
It's,
and that was on the commercial.
it seems to me that it should somehow be made clear that the demolition company or whoever's hiring them should be responsible for any required environmental investigations that are
That's-
required to make sure the property is clean, clear, and safe.
That's what I had.
Not us, I mean,
That's, well, that's
because
what
we're
I,
not, we're not, that's not what we
It might
do.
say that. I gave Dan my copy.
Oh, here, you
No,
can
that's
have
fine. I
that.
think it might say something about the property owner being responsible for any type of environmental or.
Yeah, it says it's responsibility of the property owner. I'm not sure how clear or how expansive that is, because it really can be quite,
Yes. That was just kind of what we thought you might want to consider if you're not ready to,
I don't know, I guess I'd like to see the attorney kind of look at that, because these environmental issues now can be really dicey as well as really expensive to analyze and correct.
Yeah.
So,
Fortunately, we've got experts right in our own backyard.
well,
so,
my intent on that was to protect the township as far as,
yeah, exactly.
that's what, exactly when I, that.
Okay. All right, so at least you'd want the residential.
I'm thinking you
Yeah,
want the
okay.
residential and then you can pick apart that.
Okay, let's go with that. Okay,
But when stuff gets buried on some of these jobs, it comes back to haunt you
Oh,
100 times.
all right.
I'll make a motion that we add a final inspection fee for residential demolition permits of $75 to our fee schedule.
Okay.
Support.
Okay, we have motion support for final inspection fee for residential demolition permit was $75. Okay, any discussion? Roll call vote.
Anderson, yes.
Dan, yes.
Kaczynski, yes.
Stevens, yes.
Stover, yes.
Okay, motion.
Can I add to my motion and just put that we'll visit the commercial part of that at another date?
Okay.
Can we
Yeah.
add
no,
Yeah.
that? That way we're not forgetting about it.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, citizens' comments.
I have a comment. I just want to say how impressed and pleased I am with the momentum that basically has been coming out of the clerk's office on a whole spectrum of issues. I mean, there's education that's ongoing that I've never seen so much interest in this township. There's improvement on the way elections are being handled, and more to come.
We'll see if you think that in
Well,
2024.
There's also computer security, cemetery, and building improvements. It's just a whole lot of momentum that continues on lots and lots of things, and I really think it's great.
Thank you.
That's all.
I appreciate that very
You know,
much.
it really is good. And I think everybody here
Thank you.
would agree without exception.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Okay, I have a couple items. Construction on the Church Road Bridge between St. Clair Highway and Division Road there at Jerome Creek will commence July 1st and should be completed by Labor Day. It's gonna be an aluminum arch. The road thing would be about the same level as it is now. So they're gonna commence on that. More exciting news is we got approval to send out for bids on construction for phase 1 and phase 2 of the Bell River Park, of the Casco Township Bell River Park. So we got approval just this past weekend, basically, and our park planner, Pam Blau, is already sending out to contractors in the area. So we're wanting bids in by the 30th of June. So at the July meeting, hopefully we'll have bid packages. If there's something that comes up, it may take some time, we'll extend it, but we're hoping that should be by the 30th of June, so.
Pam's taking care of putting the ads
Yeah.
in the paper and everything?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, it's exciting. It's been a lot of years in the making, and we can get our first phases in. We're reapplying for second round of the Sparks grant. That's 100% grant to the DNR. I applied for asphalt to pave. Right now, for phase 1, phase 2, the only paved area are the handicap parking places and the walkways and that. But if we're successful getting a Sparks grant, that will pave the rest of it. But the aggregate driveway and parking lot that's going in at first will make it a perfect base if we want to pave it at a later date. And we also applied for the DNR Trust Fund grant to take the road back to a river additional parking place. So that's just in its early stages. We just applied in April for that. Okay, that's all I have.
I have something in your board packet. You might have saw this little handy dandy flyer. We are now renting out our hall since we did some nice renovations. We had quite a few people ask if they could have baby showers, wedding showers. So we made a contract, had the insurance company look at it, had the lawyer look at it. Everybody was happy with it. So if anybody's interested, it's on a first come, first served basis. There's no alcohol allowed. There's a maximum capacity of 70 people, $100 rental fee, and a $250 refundable security deposit if everything is nicely cleaned up and whatnot when they're done. So if anybody would like to do that, they can contact the clerk's office. And we will put this on the website and Facebook.
Okay.
Nicely
All
done.
right, yeah. Okay, is there anything else? If there's none, we're up to adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Okay. Okay, there's motion support to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good deal.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. We appreciate it.
Very important.